Dandavat pranams to everybody. Haribol, Haribol. Welcome to another reading of Jaiva Dharma, and we're into chapter 32 today, carrying on from yesterday. So today is Tuesday, the 16th of July, 2024, and we're live streaming from Surabhi Kunj in Godram Dweep, Navadweep Dham, Goradam. So we'll have a kirtan, and then we'll begin. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dishatarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Gaura Prasthaya Bhutale Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyana Keshaviti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Iti Namine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Sachi Nandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachi Nandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Jaya Sachi Nandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachi Nandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Jaya Radha, Madana Mohan Radha, Madana Mohan Radhe, Jaya Radha, Madana Mohan Radha, Madana Mohan Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe, 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 Radhe. Jai Shishi Guru Garanga Ganhabha Giridhari Radha Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai Vrishabhan Nandini Vajeshwari Radharani Ki Jai Nityananda Rai Ki Jai Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Surabhi Kunj Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astotar Shishimat Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Astotar Shishimat Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarazara Shishimat Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tarazara Shishimat Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Paramahamsa Mahabhagavat Srila Gaura Kishodas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Saptam Goswami Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Vaishnav Sabhavam Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Baladevi Dibhushan Gaudi Bharantaracharya Ki Jai. Jai Rasik Suramani Srila Vishnath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Treya Ki Jai. Jai Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Ki Jai. Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Shri Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Baladasa Raghunath Sat Goswami Prabhu's Ki Jai. Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Jai Swarup Damodar Rai Ramananda Gauda Parasari Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Siga Holsi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Shri Gauda Bhakta Binda Ki Jai. Shri Antadvip Mayapur Simantadvip Gautandvip Madhyadvip Koladip Ritudvip Janadvip Modandvip Rudradvip Atmaka Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Govardhan Dvarasa Vardmatmika Shri Braja Mandal Ki Jai. Shri Radha Kund, Shama Kund, Ganga Jamuna Devi, Bhakti Devi, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Shrimati Brinda Devi Maharani Ki Jai. Shrimati Yogamaya Purnamasi Devi Maharani Ki Jai. Gopishwa Mahadev Ki Jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Ki Jai. Ketra Mandal Ki Jai. Sarva Vigna Vinashtakari Shina Shingadev Bhagavan Ki Jai. Bhakta Prava Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Charidam Ki Jai. Chari Sampradaya Ki Jai. Charya Charya Ki Jai. Akara Mataraj Shri Chaitanya Mat Ki Jai. Shri Keshav Ji Gaudiya Mat Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Anantakoda Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Amagina Timirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadavaktaya Namo Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Shnapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Priya Surupe, Daita Surupe, Prema Surupe, Sahaja Virupe, Nijana Rupe, Prabhueka Rupe, Tatana Rupe, Swabila Surupe, Anapita Chirim Chirat Kurunavarat Tenokalo, Samarapaitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam, Hari Purata Sundara Tuti Kadamba Sadipita Sada Radare Kandare Swadatu Vasachinandanaha Yam Pravajantamana Petyam Apeti Krityam Dvaipaino Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putre Titam Mayatayo Tarabo Benidustam Sarvabhutam Munimanatoshmi Bhaktiya Vihina Aparada Lakshay Shiptascha Karmadi Tarangamadye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapana Prinde Namaste Charanada Vindam Pajami Radam Aravinda Netram Smarami Radam Madhurashmitasyam Vadami Radam Karuna Bharatam Tato Mamanasti Gatina Kapi Tavaivasmi Navijami Vyatpina Tavaivasmi Najivami Tvaivina Iti Vignaya Rate Tvam Nayamam Charanantikam. I'm first of all offering millions and millions of Dandavat pranams unto the lotus feet of my most beloved Gurudev Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tadatata Shishimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. And I'm offering the same millions of times unto the lotus feet of our dear most Namo Shri Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Asto Tadatata Shishimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And to our dearmost Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namane Gaura Shakti Swarapaya Rupa Nogavarayate, and all the Vaishnava and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord, and our illustrious Rupa Nuga Guru Vargya, my Dandavat pranams to all of you. Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhavyevacha Patitanam Pavanivyo Vaishnave Namo Namaha. So today is the disappearance day of Bhakti Kamal Madhusudan Maharaj. So we'll post something afterwards on his glories, which Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Maharaj has spoken. So Srila Bhakti Kamal Madhusudan Maharaj Ki Jai. So now we're coming to our study of, it's his Tirobhav today. Our study of Jaiva Dhamma, so we're into the Falshruti, laying down the foundation for what we're about to speak. Jadedvaita Jnana Hoya Chita Upadaya Krishna Bhakti Chiradina Upaya Upay. Such knowledge, which is solely related to the duality of this dull material world, is fit to be rejected, whereas transcendental knowledge of the divine duality within the spiritual world, Chit Jagat, should be accepted forever within one's heart, both as the Upaya, means of attainment, and the Upayi, the goal worthy of attainment. In other words, all our desires should be focused on that transcendental reality and minimize our attention and focusing in this dull material world as much as we are able to with balance. Jiva Kabu Jadanai, Hari Kabu Nai, Hari Saha Jiva Chintya Beda Beda Mai. The Jiva is not a product of dull matter, nor is he Keval Advaita, absolutely one in all ways with Sri Hari. The Jiva is inconceivably different and non-different from Hari. Deha Kabu Jiva Nai, Dara Bhogya Nai, Dasya Bhoga Jiva Krishna Prabhu Vakta Hai. The material body should never be considered to be the Jiva, and this earth is not for the Jiva to exploit and enjoy. The Jiva Swarup is Krishna Das, and thus he is meant for Krishna's enjoyment, whereas Sri Krishna's Swarup is Prabhu, Master, and Bhakta, enjoyer. How wonderful. Jaiva Dhamma Nahiyache Deha Dharma Kata Nahiyache Jiva Gyan Mayavada Prata. This book, entitled Jaiva Dhamma, neither discusses matters related to the dead material body, nor does it propound the Mayavad doctrine of the Jiva's oneness with Brahm. This is dismantling this misconception that was there for a long time in the Gyan Kand section of the Shastras, that Dharma, Artha, Karma, Moksha are the Purusarthas, the 5 worthy goals, or 4 worthy goals rather, to achieve in this life. This is though without the consideration of what is the 5th Panch Purusartha, which is Nitya Prem. So this book only deals with that Nitya Prem. Jiva Nitya Bhakti, Jiva Dharma, Jiva Nitya Dharma Bhakti Daye Chadanai, Sura Jiva Prema Seva Palapayatai. The Jiva's Nitya Dharma is Bhakti, devoid of material motivation. The Jiva, purified by Seva, attains the fruit of that Seva in the form of Prem. That means for the Jiva, service to that Prem that Shri Radha and Krishna are relishing, that Unnata Ujjvala Ras. So the Jiva's opportunity is to render service to that. Swa Bhakti Shriyam. We understand from that verse that Krishna is tasting the Unnata Ujjvala Ras, the relationship with Shri Radhika, but he's come to bestow this Swa Bhakti, Krishna's own Bhakti, that's Radhika, and her Shriyam, her beauty. And the beauty is in the manjaris. That beauty is like a creeper with flowers, sakis, etc. But the manjaris are within the sakis, and the bee doesn't settle on the manjaris that are wavering in the wind. He will go to the flower directly. So the manjaris are only exclusively serving Sri Radhika. So our whole line is immersed in that conception of Swabhakti Shriyam, which is what Mahaprabhu has come to directly give. So now we're up to page 666. And we've been discussing principally about the distinction between Golok and Gokul, and the nature of this unprecedented Parakiya Ras, which is such a confidential topic. So we haven't been explaining this particular very much. We've just been reading to try and get a broader picture and appreciation of the entire subject matter as Bhaktivinoda Thakur presents it. So we're halfway down page 666. Vijay is saying, what is the bhav of knowing oneself as Proda? Goswami. A gopi thinks, I am a girl who was born in the house of a Brajagopa, and when I grew up to be a young adolescent, I was given in marriage to a youthful Gopa. Only through this type of conviction does the intense yearning to meet intimately with Krishna become powerful. So when we have the conception of being married to a Gopa in Braj, and that desire to meet with Krishna, which has to break all social maryad, all social conformity. And to us, the conditioned souls, this is demonstrating the utter mood of submissiveness to Krishna that will surmount the greatest material obstacles of marriage, chastity, fear. All of these are overcome by the gopis completely. Only through this type of conviction does the intense yearning to meet intimately with Krishna become powerful. Gopi Bhav means to attribute arop, like we have arop siddha bhakti, which is attributing something as bhakti, but actually its initial intention was not directed at Krishna originally, but it's the same word that's been used here, arop. To oneself, the mood of being a Gopa's wife, because they're not really Gopa's wives, they're actually fully Krishna's wives, they're his Shaktis, and we described yesterday how in the Gandharva marriage, they're married with each other. That marriage takes place in Bandirban forest. One day, Nanda Baba, he's holding baby Krishna in his arms, cradling him in his arms, and he sees a huge blackish storm coming. A mighty storm is coming, and he's wondering, what am I going to do with Krishna now? And all of a sudden, a young Kishori steps out practically from the forest, and extends her arms to take baby Krishna. And somehow Nanda Baba is very attracted to this Kishori, and he just gives baby Krishna into the arms of that Kishori, who's assuming to give shelter to that child during the storm. And then that Kishori carries the baby Krishna into the forest. And as soon as they have left the vision of Nanda Baba, then suddenly that baby Krishna grows up and takes the hand of Radhika, and they're both two teenagers, Kishori, Kishore. And then they walk into the forest, they come to the Bandiravat tree, and it's there that this wonderful marriage ceremony takes place, where Lord Brahma himself comes, chants the mantras. Tungavidya is chanting the mantras, and all the Astasakis, they all meet there, they're all performing this marriage ceremony. This is called the Gandharva ceremony. This, when it's done without the formalities of a normal type of marriage. And this is when Radha and Krishna become married. This pastime is beautifully described in many, many places. And I'll give a reference after exactly. I think it's in perhaps the Bhakti Rasayan. I think in this book, my Gurudev describes this pastime very beautifully. But it's described in many places like this. So, Gopi Bhav means to attribute a rope to oneself, the mood of being a Gopa's wife, who has not yet given birth to a child. So we explained that yesterday also. Many times when the children are mentioned, that the Gopis, they left their children behind. But it's explained by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, those children that they left behind were the children of other Gopis. Vijay, if the sadhak is male, how can he attribute Gopi Bhav to himself? Good question. Goswami, people only consider themselves male because they are under the influence of the illusory nature imposed by Maya. That's a material consideration, the gender, according to the material body, not the spiritual identity. Except for Krishna's eternal male associates, the pure inherent spiritual nature of all others is female. And this is because the female has a natural propensity for service. We see in many instances, like for example, when you travel on airlines, it's practically always stewardesses who are serving. They have a propensity, a natural ability to serve in a gentle manner. There's one airline in Ireland where they have men serving, stewards, and they just don't do a good job at all. They get irritable. They don't know how to serve in the same gentle way that the ladies know how to serve. That's just an example of that. But generally the mood of service, the highest service, because generally the submissive wife, she's in service to her husband directly, even though the husband is in service to the wife as far as maintaining her and so on. But the wife has a particular mood of service to the husband, that mood of service, which is very beautiful. So it's saying that the spiritual nature of all others is female, that service. All others are Jiva Sarupoi, Krishna and Nityadas, all servants of Krishna. Really, there are no male and female characteristics in the spiritual structure, but the sadhak can attain eligibility to be a Brajavasini when he is impelled by swabhav and a steadfast abhiman, when he has his mood is steadfast, his identity is steadfast. Only those who have ruchi for madhurya ras are eligible to become Brajavasinis. If one performs sadhana according to one's ruchi, one will attain a perfected state that corresponds exactly to the nature of that sadhana. So in our sadhana, we are remembering our mood of service in a female form, if our desire is to enter into this rasa tattva. Brajanath, of course, won't be like that. His desire was to be with Subal and the cows, so his form spiritual form will be male, but for those who are entering into this Madhurya Ras, their spiritual form will be female. Vijay, what are the glories of being a gopi married to a gopa other than Krishna? Goswami, the Braja gopis who are married to others naturally become minds of superabundant beauty and extraordinary, powerful, transcendental virtues when the intense hankering to meet intimately with Krishna arises in their hearts. They're overwhelmed with Krishna Prem, we can say. They also become decorated with the exquisite loveliness of Prem. The sweetness of their ras exceeds that of all the Shaktis of Bhagavan, headed by the goddess of fortune, Lakshmi. So when we say the term Bhagavan, this indicates the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or Lord Narayan. So his Lakshmi, his Shakti, is principally the goddess of fortune. And this ras exceeds the beauty of that Lakshmi Devi, the gopis. Vijay, how many kinds of Braja Sundari, beautiful damsels, are there? Goswami, there are 3 types, Sadanpara, Devi, and Nityapriya. Vijay, are there also different types of Sadanpara Sundari? Goswami, yes, there are 2 types of Sadanpara Sundari, Utiki and Ayutiki. Vijay, who are the Utiki? Goswami, the Utiki Sundaris have taken birth in Braj together in a group after being absorbed in the Sadan for Braja Ras. In other words, they are members of a particular group. There are 2 kinds of Utiki, Munigan and Upanishadgan. Vijay, which Munis have taken birth in Braj as gopis? Goswami, some Munis offered worship to Gopal, but were unable to attain Siddhi, perfection. After having darshan of Sri Ramchandra's beauty, they further endeavored in sadhana in accordance with their cherished desire. Thus they accepted Gopi Bhav and took birth as gopis. Padma Purana refers to them in this way, and Brihat Vamana Purana states that some of them attained perfection at the beginning of the Ras Lila. So 2 types. Vijay, how did the Upanishads take birth as gopis in Braj? Goswami, the Maha Upanishads personified, who were gifted with extremely fine discrimination, became thoroughly astonished when they saw the gopis' good fortune, and after performing severe austerities with Shraddha, they attained birth in Braj as gopis. Their Shraddha is particularly mentioned. That means their focus, their desire to become a gopi. Then they attained birth in Braj as gopis. Vijay, who are Ayutiki? Goswami, there are 2 types of Sundaris celebrated by the name Ayutiki, long-standing, Prachina, and new, Navina. They are exceptionally attached to Gopi Bhav and perform sadhana with intense eagerness and natural anurag. Some take birth alone, and others in groups of 2, 3, or even more at the same time. The Prachana Ayutiki gopis attain Salokya, living on the same planet together with the Nitya Priya gopis for a long time ago. The Naveen Ayutiki gopis came to Braj by taking birth in the species of devas, humans and other beings. They gradually became Prachana and attained Salokya in the way I have already mentioned. Vijay, I have understood the subject of Sadhan Para. Now please be so kind as to explain to me about the Devis. Goswami, when Krishna descends among the Devas in Swaga by his Angsas and his Nityakantas, Angsas of his Nityakantas also manifest as Devis in order to satisfy him. Those very Devis take birth in Krishna Lila as the daughters of Gopas and become the pran sakis of the Nitya Priya Gopis, of whom they are anksas, in other words, of their own anksinis. Vijay, Prabhu, when does Krishna take birth by his angsa in the species of devas? Goswami, Krishna takes birth from Aditi's womb by his swangsa form as Vamana, and by his Vibhinamsa's separated expansions, he becomes the Devatas. Shiva and Brahma are not born from the womb of a mother, and although they are not in the category of ordinary jivas, they have 50 qualities to a minute degree. They are still only Vibhinamsas. Those 50 qualities are certainly present in Brahma and Shiva to a somewhat greater extent, and in addition, they have 5 more qualities that are not found in the ordinary jivas. Therefore, these two are called the chief devatas. Ganesh and Surya are also situated in the same category as Brahma for the same reason. But all the other devas are classified as jivas. So it's the distinction. This is actually described in the 13th chapter here. In the 13th chapter, there's a list of Krishna's 64 qualities, and the first 50 qualities are in the devas and to a greater degree in Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, and then still to a greater degree in Lord Narayana, and then the 4 extra qualities in Brajendranandan Shyam Sundar. There's Prem Madhuri, Rup Madhuri, Lila Madhuri, and Venu Madhuri, these 4 exceptional qualities. Ganesh and Surya are also situated in the same category as Brahma for the same reason, but all the other devas are classified as jivas. All the devatas are Krishna's Vibhinamsas, and their wives, Devis, are the Vibhinamsas of Chit Shakti. Just before Krishna's appearance, Brahma ordered them to take birth to satisfy Krishna, and following his order, some of them took birth in Braj and others in Dwarka, according to their different tastes and sadhan. The Devis who take birth in Braj because of intense eagerness to attain Krishna are the pran sakis of the Nitya Priya Gopis. Vijay, Prabhu, the Upanishads attained birth as gopis, but kindly tell me, do any other presiding Devis of the Vedas also accept birth in Braj? Goswami, it is written in the Shristi Kand of the Padma Purana that Gayatri, who is Vedamata, the mother of the Vedas, also took birth as a gopi and attained Sri Krishna's association. From that time, she assumed the form of Kam Gayatri. Vijay, but isn't Kam Gayatri without any beginning, Anadi? Goswami, Kam Gayatri is certainly Anadi, and this Anadi Gayatri first manifested in the form of Vedamata. Later, by the influence of sadhan and seeing the good fortune of many Upanishads, she took birth in Braj, along with the Gopal Upanishad. Although the form of Kam Gayatri is eternal, she exists splendidly in an eternal and separate form as Vedamata Gayatri. Vijay, all those, such as the Upanishads, who took birth in Braj had the abhiman of being the daughters of Gopas, and they accepted Krishna as their own husband with the conception that he was a Gopa Nayak. Krishna became their husband at that time by the custom of Gandharva Vihar. I've explained that just before. I have understood this much. However, Krishna's eternal beloved consorts are his associates from time without beginning. So is Krishna's relationship of Upapati with them only a contrivance of Maya? Goswami, it is certainly one type of creation of Maya, but not of Jada Maya, the illusory energy exhibited in the material world. Jada Maya can never touch Krishna Leela. Although Braj Leela is within the material world, it is completely beyond the jurisdiction of Jad Maya. Another name for Chit Shakti is Yogamaya, and in Krishna Lila, this very Yogamaya acts in such a way that one who is influenced by Jad Maya sees that Krishna Lila is in an external form. Yogamaya brings to Braj the Prodha Abhiman of Golok with each of the Nitya Priyas, and gives that Abhiman form a separate individual existence. Then, by arranging for the marriages between the Nitya Priya Gopis and those separate existences, she makes Krishna Upapati. So there's a footnote here I think we can just look at right now. Let's get to that. So the footnote is that it's on page 675. All the Abhimans, all the identities of Golok are manifested in tangible forms in Braj, such as Abhimanyu. So here, when we say Braj, we're indicating Bhoma Vrindavan. And in earthly Vrindavan, Abhimanyu manifests in a tangible form as the husband of Radhika. She makes Krishna Upapati. I say it again. Then, by arranging for the marriages between the Nitya Priya Gopis and those separate existences, she makes Krishna Upapati. So Yogamaya is the one responsible for managing this arrangement of the gopis' husbands in Golok. The omniscient Purush and the all-knowing Shaktis who are absorbed in their respective rasa accept these bhavs. This indicates the superiority of ras and the super excellence of the fully independent Icha Shakti. There is no such eminence in Vaikuntha and Dwarka. When the Pran Sakis attain Salokya, along with the Nitya Priya Gopis, their restricted Pati Bhav broadens and becomes Upapati Bhav, so this is their ultimate achievement. Vijay. This Siddhanta is quite extraordinary. My heart has become refreshed. Now kindly explain to me about the Nitya Priya Gopis. Goswami. Sri Gaurachandra could not have revealed such esoteric principles through my mouth if there were no qualified listener. Present, such as your good self. Look here, in various places, Sri Jiva Goswami, who is all-knowing, Sarvagyan, has deliberated on this subject in a very confidential manner, which one can understand by reading his commentaries and literatures, such as Krishna Samdarbha. Sri Jiva Goswami was always afraid that if unqualified persons came to know about these very esoteric principles, they might later take shelter of a corrupted form of dharma. At that time, Srila Jiva Goswami felt anxious about all the faults, such as rasabhas and the distortion of ras, that are seen in so-called Vaishnavas today. He could not prevent this misfortune, although he was so careful. You should not speak this Siddhanta in the presence of others, except to those who are qualified to receive it. Now I will describe the Nitya Priya Gopis. So Jiva Goswami, this is referencing when he wrote for some of his followers about Swakiya Ras within Braj. But that was for a certain section of his followers. It wasn't that that's what he believed. Vijay, who are the Nitya Priya Gopis? Although in the past I have studied many shastras, now my sole desire is to drink this nectar from the lotus mouth of Sri Gurudev. Goswami, like Krishna, the Nitya Priya Gopis in Braj are the abodes of all qualities such as beauty and cleverness. Radha and Chandravali are the most prominent among them. They have been referred to in Brahma Samhita 5:37. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabis Tabirya Eva Nijarupatyakala Kalabahi Goloka Eva Nivasatya Kilatma Bhuta Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. When the Anand Angsa of the Sat Chit Ananda Paratattva agitates the Chit Angsa and is then enthused by the separately manifest Hladini Pratibha splendor, then Srimati Radhika, along with her Sakis, who are all extensions of her spiritual form, become manifest. I perform bhajan of that Govinda, who is the supreme original soul of all souls. He eternally resides in Golok Dham with those damsels who are all endowed with the 64 arts. So this is describing the Radha Kaya Vyuha. The Nitya Priya Gopis have been mentioned in this statement of Brahma, which is the essence of all the Vedas. They are Nitya, which means they are a manifestation of Chit Shakti and are thus beyond time and space. This is the truth. Their Nitya Lila is an expression of the 64 arts, Kalavya, Swamsa, Rupabhya, Shaktivya. Although different meanings are given by the Acharyas in other commentaries on Brahma Samhita, I have explained Sri Swarup Damodar Goswami's extremely confidential commentary. This secret treasure is hidden in the vault of the hearts of Sri Rupa Sanatan and Srila Jiva Goswamis. Beautiful. Vijay. I am intensely eager to hear the various names of the Nitya Priya Gopis. Goswami, Shastra such as the Skanda Purana and Prahlad Samhita have mentioned names such as Radha, Chandravali, Vishaka, Lalita, Shyama, Padma, Saiba, Badrika, Tara, Vichitra, Gopali, Danishna, and Pali. Another name of Chandravali is Somata, and Srimati Radhika is also called Gandharva. Brajagopis such as Kanja Sanki, Manorama, Mangala, Vimala, Lila, Krishna, Shari, Sari, Varishad, Taravali, Chakorakshi, Sankari, and Kumkum are most famous in this world, are also famous in this world. Vijay, what is their relationship with each other? Goswami, these gopis are Yuteshwaris, group leaders. There are not one or two groups, but hundreds, and in each of them there are hundreds of thousands of beautiful individual gopis. All of the above mentioned gopis, from Srimati Radhika to Kumkum, are Yuteshwaris. Vishaka, Lalita, Padma, and Saiba have been described in the Shastras more elaborately than the others. Among these Yuteshwaris, the 8 gopis beginning with Radha have been called Pradhan, because they are most fortunate. Pradhana, because they are most fortunate. So there are millions, billions of gopis. I described the other day, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur saying 300 billion gopis, and we're going to come to these categories of gopis. Vijay, Vishaka, Lalita, Padma, and Saiba are Pradhana gopis, and they are especially expert in nourishing Krishna's pastimes. Why have they not been accepted as distinct Yuteshwaris, leaders? Goswami, they are so qualified that although it would be proper to call them Yuteshwaris, Lalita and Vishaka remain so enchanted by Srimati Radhika's supremely blissful bhav that they do not want to call themselves independent Yuteshwaris. Among them, some of the followers of Srimati Radhika, and some are followers of Srimati Radhika, and others are followers of Chandravali. Vijay, I have heard that Lalita has a gun, a subgroup. What type of group is it? Goswami, Srimati Radhaji is prominent amongst all the Yuteswaris. Some of the gopis in her dependent utes are attracted to Sri Lalitaji's special barb and call themselves Lalita Gan. Other gopis refer to themselves as Vishaka Gan, and so on. The Astasakis, headed by Lalita and Vishaka, are the heroines of Srimati Radhika's various guns. If one is very fortunate, one can acquire the qualification to enter Srimati Lalita's gun. So we know this is what's recommended, this is what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself is following this. Vijay. In which Shastra can the names of these gopis be found? Goswami. Their names are found in Shastras such as Padma Purana, Skanda Purana, and the Uttarakhand of the Bhavisya Purana. Many names are also mentioned in Sattvata Tantra. Vijay. Srimad Bhagavatam is the crest jewel of all Shastras in the entire universe, so it would have been a matter of great joy if these names were mentioned there. Goswami. Srimad Bhagavatam is a Tattva Shastra, but it is also an ocean of ras. From the point of view of the Rasik Bhaktas, Srimad Bhagavatam is filled with a complete deliberation on Rasa Tattva, as if an ocean were contained in a single jar. Sri Radha's name and the barbs and identities of all the gopis have been described there in a highly confidential way. If you reflect thoroughly upon the shlokas of the 10th canto, you can find everything. There's that beautiful verse, Aradhaya, what's that? Aradhaya Bhagavat. Aradhayo, no. Aradhayo Bhagavan Brajesha, Tanayas Tatam. No. No, not that verse, not that verse. No, not that verse. No. Yes, but that's something different. It's Anaya Radhito Nunam Bhagavan Hare Ishvara. Yad. This verse here. I'm just going to find it. Page 14. You have the little book, it's in page 14. No, it's not this one. This is the wrong one. Sorry. I've got to just find it. It's Aradhayo Bhagavan. Anaya Radhito Nunam. Anaya Radhito Nunam. It's on page 157. Anaya Radhito Nunam Bhagavan Hare Ishvara. Yan no Vihaya Govinda Prito Yam Anayat Raha. So this verse is quoted when the gopis are seeking Krishna after he's left the Ras Leela, and they say that they recognized Radhika's Swapaksh gopis, her own group, recognize her footprints, but the other gopis they don't. And they just, Chandravali, etc., they just recognize that some fortunate gopi has been taken to a secret place by Krishna. O Saki, Srimati Radhika is more fortunate than all of us. It doesn't actually say directly Radhika. She has surely performed the highest aradhana of Bhagavan, Sri Hari. Thus she has received the name Radhika. That is why, being very much pleased with her, Govinda left us in the Rasastali and went off with her to a solitary place. The hidden meaning of this verse is that Srimati Radhika, who is indicated here as Aradhita, is the topmost gopi beloved of Sri Krishna, being the very crown jewel of devotion. This is the only time in the whole Bhagavatam that Srimati Radhika's name is deliberately said. It's not even said entirely. Anaya radito nunam. This is not saying directly Radhika, but it's indicating Radhika, because we know that Shukadev Goswami was originally Radhika's parrot. So if he chants the name of Radhika, he will go into such a high bhav that he won't be able to complete the whole recitation of the Bhagavatam to Parikshit. So he deliberately doesn't say these names, particularly Radhika. But in this one particular verse, Anaya Radhito Nunam Bhagavan Hare Ishvara, he mentions her name there in a hidden way. If you reflect thoroughly upon the shlokas of the 10th canto, you can find everything. Sri Shukadev Goswami has described this subject in a confidential way to keep unqualified people at a distance. Vijay, what will be the result of giving chanting beads and full and explicit descriptions to one and all? The reader can understand the confidential topics. If you give chanting beads and these instructions to all, they will commit offenses to the holy name. The reader can understand the confidential topics only as far as his conceptions are advanced. Therefore, one quality of a genuine Pandit is that he can reveal in a hidden way subjects that are not fit to be revealed in the presence of everyone. It's called parokshvad. Qualified people understand them only as far as their adhikar allows. There is no knowledge of the factual vastu without Sri Guru Parampara. One may acquire knowledge in other ways, but it will have no effect unless the knowledge is empowered directly from Sri Guru, who is originally manifesting from Sri Rupa Goswami, all the Goswamis in that current, that line. Then the knowledge that they're giving will have no potency at all. The reader can understand the confidential topics only as far as his conceptions are advanced. Therefore, one quality of a genuine Pandit is that he can reveal in a hidden way subjects that are not fit to be revealed in the presence of everyone. Qualified people understand them only as far as their adhikar allows. There is no knowledge of the factual vastu without Sri Guru Parampara. One may acquire knowledge in other ways, but it will have no effect. You can only attain the complete ras of Srimad Bhagavatam after thoroughly understanding Ujjvala Nilamani. So these topics of Ujjvala Nilamani are confidential topics, but only by understanding those topics will one actually be able to understand the heart of this Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, after a long period of questions and answers, that day's Ishta Goshti was completed. Vijay returned to his residence, meditating incessantly on the subjects that he had heard, as all the vikar considerations in relation to Nayak and Nayika awakened in the field of his heart. He became absorbed in Paramananda, and as he remembered the discussion about Vamsi and Swayam Duty, a stream of tears flowed from his eyes. We remember Vamsi and Swayam Duty are the two Sakhis of Krishna, those helpers of Krishna. At that time, the pastime that he had seen in the grove on his way to Sundarachal the previous night appeared vividly upon the screen of his heart. Thus ends the 32nd chapter of Jaiva Dhamma, entitled Madhuri Ras Vichar, Parakya Nayaks. So remarkable chapter. But as we've said, each time we conclude a chapter, and I'm simply reading it through, I'm not commenting practically at all, we have the desire to again turn around and read it straight back through, or at least listen to it again. And you'll find that the second time listening, or the third time listening, your understanding and comprehension will be so much more. We're thinking that we don't really understand it so much on the first time through, but the second time through, and the third, and the fourth, and the fifth, and so on, over the years, we'll come to be able to assimilate and absorb so much more on this topic, and bring it basically into our meditation, bring it into our bhajan, bring it into our consciousnesses while we're chanting. And if we do that and questions arise, we'll find very quickly and easily Guru and Krishna will answer those questions immediately. So this is our process, to hear patiently, as we said at the beginning, and allow these topics to manifest by themselves into the consciousness according to our adhikar, according to the strength of our sadhan bhajan. These topics will manifest within us, and depending on our greed and enthusiasm, that will indicate the amount of time that it will take for these topics to manifest. Some it will just be very rapid, for others it may be lifetimes until these topics actually become clarified in the consciousness. So it's a very individual journey here. And if we start to say things categorically like this and like this and like that, then we're sort of putting it in stone, so to speak, but none of it is in stone. It's all like fluid. According to the level of our understanding at the time, we will understand it a certain way, like the Gayatri mantras. According to our adhikar at that time, we'll understand it a certain way, and then after a few months we'll understand it more deeply, and so it will evolve with our ever-evolving consciousness. So these are very beautiful topics. So tomorrow is Ekadashi Vrat here in Vrindavan, in Navadvip, and perhaps it's the same in different places of the world also, today or tomorrow. But tomorrow it's Ekadashi Vrat. And we'll begin chapter 33 tomorrow. This Madhurya Ras Vichar and Sri Radha Swarup, 5 types of Sakis and messengers. So thank you all very much for your patient attendance, and we'll continue tomorrow. Shri Jaiva Dharma ki jai, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol. Go Premanande, Hari Bol. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhumevacha, Patitanam Pavnebhyo, Vaishnave Namo Namaha. Vaishnavas ki jai.